Ma'am, were you crying when you were shooting him?
I don't remember.
Were you crying when you were stabbing him?
I don't remember.
How about when you cut his throat? Were you crying then?
I don't know.
This is Jodi Arias as she faced the heat of court trials. She was being tried over the death of her lover, Travis Alexander.
And in that tape you said that no jury would convict you. Something to that effect. Do you remember seeing that? Remember saying that?
Yeah, I did say that.
Why?
I made that statement in September 2008, I believe it was. And at the time I had plans to commit suicide. So I was extremely confident that no jury would convict me because I didn't expect any of you to be here. I didn't expect to be here, so I could have easily said no jury would acquit me either. I couldn't say that though because there was an officer sitting 5 feet behind me, and had I told them the reason no jury would convict me at that time, I would have been thrown into a padded cell and stripped down, and that would have been my life for a while until I stabilized. So I was very confident that no jury would convict me because I planned to be dead. Probably the most bitter words I'll ever eat.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said those are probably the most bitter words I'll ever eat.
Jodi is really good with words. She is believable because of that. Was that what she really meant with that statement? At some point during her testimony, she got to talk about her relationship with Travis.
This post-convention recap, was his behavior the same it was in Oklahoma City in terms of how he treated you as a buddy or a colleague, as opposed to his girlfriend?
Yes, he was friendly, but not anything more than that.
Okay. And was he flirtatious with other women in front of you during this recap?
I don't recall. He's always very friendly with women, but I don't recall anything that sticks out.
Okay. So after this recap is over, do you both return to your respective homes?
No, the recap was one day on Saturday, and we stayed the night at the Hughes' parents' home. So it was a ranch, and we were out there, and there was a party, so a lot of people came over. It was a social event, and after the party dispersed, we hung out and went to sleep.
Okay. In the same bedroom?
Yes.
Okay. When you were at this ranch, as you described it, meeting a bunch of people, did he introduce you as his girlfriend?
No.
Was it just, this is my friend Jodi?
He didn't introduce me at all.
What's that?
He didn't introduce me at all.
So after this party at the ranch, what happens next? I mean, do you stay at the ranch a few more days, or is this the last day you're on the ranch?
A few more days. I think I left Monday evening.
Okay. And left, you mean to go back to Palm Desert?
Travis wanted to meet up with me in Riverside that night, so he told me to go to, I don't remember what it's called, but I think it's called the Mission or something. It's kind of a tourist destination in Riverside. He said it's a beautiful place for photographs and that I could get some nice pictures while he finishes up whatever he was doing at their house. So I had to I had to go to Verizon, and then I went there and took some pictures.
Okay. And did Mr. Alexander then meet you at this Mission Inn?
No, when he arrived in Riverside, he he gave me directions to his grandmother's house.
Okay. And this house, was this also located in Riverside?
Yes,
Okay.
to my understanding.
Okay. And was this, by the time he had contacted you and given directions to his grandmother's house, was this, what time of day was this, if you can recall?
It was the evening, it was dark, but it wasn't very late.
Okay. So did he then, did you go to his grandma's house?
Yes,
Okay. Did he introduce you to his grandmother?
yes,
Okay. As his girlfriend?
no,
After you have this breakup on June 29th, 2007, is that the last you hear of Travis Alexander?
no.
How long was it, in terms of days, maybe hours if so, how long was it before you spoke with Mr. Alexander again?
He called me the next morning, he was still in Southern California.
And just so we're clear, you were in Big Sur, right?
I was in Big Sur.
And what was the subject matter of that conversation?
Well, I don't remember how it started. I think he was at his friend's house.
I'm responsible was the subject of the conversation.
It's not his objection, Your Honor.
Overruled. Restate your question.
You say he called you the next day. Do you know where he was calling you from?
I understood that he was at his friend's house, Chris and Sky's house in Southern California.
Okay. And was he wanting to get together with you? Was he wanting to continue the conversation? Tell us the subject matter of the conversation.
At first it was about what he was doing there, so that's why I figured he was there. And then we didn't continue the conversation from before. It was a lot less dramatic. And I don't know what room he had holed himself up in, but the conversation began to turn sexual. And
What do you mean sexual?
well, he began to just say things like he's been horny lately and
You're saying,
It's not being offered for the truth of the matter asserted, Judge.
Approach.
You said that the conversation was sexual in nature, this day after you broke up, right?
yes,
When you say sexual in nature, that can mean a lot of things. So I want to clarify that a little bit. Was he talking about the two of you engaging in sexual behavior?
yes,
Did he talk about specific acts that he wanted to engage in with you?
I don't remember specifically. I just remember he was sexual, the things he was saying.
And you remember it related to the two of you interacting, right?
Somewhat. I was on the phone, but I was out in the gravel driveway at the Red House at Ventana.
Okay. You had just broken up with him the night before, right?
The afternoon before.
The afternoon before. Did you find it strange that the morning after your breakup, or the morning after your breakup, this man's on the phone with you trying to have dirty talk?
I felt it was strange, but also I really had low self-esteem at this time. It made me feel better, actually.
What do you mean? Describe that for us. What do you mean better?
Well, he had made promises to change. He said those women didn't mean anything, that kind of thing.
Judge, hearsay.
Not being offered for.
So,
So he told you those women didn't matter and you did? Is that what? what you're
Yes.
saying and why you felt good about it?
Yes, he said, I swear I'll change, just give me a chance. So this was I don't know, I still loved him, and so I thought that he was serious about changing, and so I continued to be intimate with him.
Nobody can affirm Jodi's account. Let's sort of take it as she said. Travis might indeed not have been the perfect boyfriend, but murder would never be a good answer.
We were just kind of, I don't know, I don't really know how to explain it. He was still loving toward me, but it seemed like he was going out of his way to really court her, whereas I was already, in the bag, so to speak.
You were already, what was that?
Just like, he didn't have to court me, I was already with him. Does that make sense?
Okay, yes. Was Bobby ever physically abusive towards you?
There was one time where we had a fight. Trying to think, I think this was in '99. We had broken up and got back together a few times. I broke up with him, obviously, after that incident, and then he somehow, it's a long story, but he convinced me to stay, so I stayed and put all my things back, and he promised he wouldn't have contact with her anymore. But we broke up a few more times and then got back together, and at one point, I had moved out of his house and I was living with another woman, and it wasn't far from his house. It was like 2 blocks. And in Montague, there's a lot of fields. We could see each other's houses from there, sort of. And so I was advised over and over to get away from him because he's not healthy, but my heart was, I still cared about him. So one day he came over to the house, like he always did, and we were hanging out. And I don't remember how, but an argument started, and
Objection, foundations, this incident occurred.
Sustained.
When was this?
this was sometime in 1999. I think it was in the fall, early fall, like September, maybe even August, but I think it was around sometime in the early fall.
Okay. And he was at the home? Was he physical with you at the...
Oh, it's just very sentimental. It's about happier times. When you just look back, you don't think that it would end up the way it did.
Let me show you what's been admitted as Exhibit 431. Can you take a look at that, please? Is that hard to look at?
Yeah.
Why?
We had a really bad fight that morning, but it turned out better, and we had a pretty good day afterward.
How long was this trip?
I think just the weekend. I don't recall specifically. It wasn't very long.
Well, when did that occur?
At the convention in Oklahoma City in March 2007.
Describe those circumstances for us.
He and I were hanging out at the Sheraton. This was 2 nights after the drunk lady fell all over him. And so we were just hanging out with other colleagues and friends. And I had to use the restroom, so I went to the same restroom that I ran to a few nights before. It's sort of by a bar that's at the lobby. And so this is Saturday night now, and by Saturday night, a lot of people are partying. Convention's over, everyone's gonna leave Sunday. So there were a lot of people. There was a big crowd, a lot of people that were drinking and just having fun and being social. And as I was making my way back through the crowd, I heard somebody call my name. And I stopped and looked around to see who it was. And it was Abe, the guy I had gone on a date with some months earlier. And we talked briefly, and I don't remember if he had heard about what happened or if I told him about what happened, but he just was listening, and he said, "You deserve better," and I said, "Thanks." I said, "It's okay," that kind of thing. So then we parted, and I made my way back through the crowd, and I was leaving the crowd, and I saw Travis standing at the edge of the crowd, waiting for me, and I just smiled as I walked up to him and went to grab his hand, and his hand shot out and grabbed my wrist instead.
Was he angry with you?
He seemed upset, but not at first. He didn't seem incredibly angry until he started talking, and then I realized he was pretty mad.
Okay. How did he you said he grabbed your wrist. Did he grab it hard, or was he just holding it?
He grabbed it hard, but not painfully.
Did it ever become painful?
Not at that moment. He was just squeezing very tightly, but it didn't hurt.
And you said that he was not that angry at that time, but later you understood him to be more angry. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, as soon as he began to talk, I could tell he was pissed off.
And how could you tell that? Without telling us what he said, how could you tell that?
By his demeanor, his tone, his words. And
Was he yelling?
no, he was kind of speaking very sternly, sort of under his breath.
Okay.
That's just something I remember specifically that bothered me. It's not that, I wouldn't care if they're gay, but that's Travis's way of issuing a deep insult. To him, that's insulting.
Did he say anything about your other family members? Did you recall?
Not in that specific argument.
Okay. Now, this specific argument where he grabs you, throws you down, restrains you a second time when you get to leave, what was the thing that was so important that Travis wanted to do? Insult your family, or was there something else?
He just kept ranting and raving and yelling.
You don't remember about what?
Honestly, my brain sort of went on freeze, and I don't remember a lot of what he was saying. He was just yelling.
Okay. Why wasn't this day, the day he throws you down, the day he grabs you, the day he won't let you leave the room, the day he insults what he believes are insults to your family, why wasn't that the last day you saw Travis? Last day.
Well, it was going to be, because when I was leaving the stairs, or going downstairs, he followed me all the way out to my car, just saying one mean thing after another, and then his tone changed to something very friendly, but it was like artificial friendly, and he said, "I have a great idea." And he said, "How about you move to Antarctica and never call me again?" And I said, "Minus Antarctica, sure." And I was getting into the car, and after my leg got into the car, he slammed the door hard, and I started to drive away. So I thought we were not going to talk at that point. It was a very low point for me. Throughout the fall, I had been feeling suicidal, so I thought that was kind of the point where I decided I wanted to go through with that. So I called my friend Matt, because he had guns, and I was going to ask him if I could borrow one, because I wanted to kill myself. And he could tell, I don't know, he called a suicide hotline and had me call them, and he called my dad or my parents. And as I was on the phone with Matt, Travis began calling again as I was driving back home. And I wanted to answer because Travis always apologized after he had been very mean, and I thought maybe this is his apology. But sometimes it took a while to calm down, so it could just be more of the same, of his anger. So I hung up anyway with Matt, and I answered the phone, and Travis was very sweet and very calm, and he was telling me to come back, and that he was too harsh on me, and he felt bad, and I needed to help him make his bed. I had been there doing laundry and cleaning the house when that fight started. So I hadn't finished making the bed and all the sheets were out of the dryer.
So he wanted you to get back to your duties as a maid, right?
Judge and reading, she just said that.
Overruled.
Is that right?
The implication was more, come help me make my bed so we can make up.
Make up meaning have sex?
Yes.
Did he request this French maid outfit again?
No.
Obviously, people often have different motivations before they do things like killing other people. Perhaps this was the build-up for Jody, and it could be that she had lies in her account. The cross-examination did a great job to help us find out if it was or not.
And so you're down. What happens next?
I rolled and ran down the hallway.
Well, you rolled. Rolling's a little bit different than running. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
So even though you're having this wind knocked out of you, and you've, according to you, have had your head smacked on the floor, you are able to roll to your left, right?
Yes.
I'm sorry, to the left, correct?
Yes.
And you are clothed at this time, right?
Yes.
He does not have any clothing on, right?
No, he doesn't.
He's angry though, right?
Very angry.
Extremely angry, right?
I would say that, yes.
And you turn to your left to get up, right?
Yes.
And you turn to your left to get up so you can get away, right?
Yes.
You have absolutely no problem moving to your left and getting up, do you?
I don't know.
Well, you were there,
I just know I did it, and I did it as fast as I could.
and he didn't stop you from doing that, did he?
I perceived that he was trying to get on top of me.
So you thought that he was trying to get on top of you. You say you perceived, which means that it may or may not be something that actually happened. So did he get on top of you at that point?
I rolled away before that could happen.
So you rolled away before that could happen means that you're saying that he then tried to go down to grab you? Is that what you're saying?
I don't remember him getting down, but I remember him just coming at me and coming at me and coming at me.
I understand that he's coming at you, but you're down on the ground, right?
Yes.
So if you're down on the ground, isn't he going to have to, by necessity, stoop over?
If he were to get on top of me, yes.
And so was he stooping over? Did you see that?
I don't know. I just know that he was coming after me and I rolled.
Well, you're telling us that you have these ideas, but I'm asking you what he actually did. Did he stoop over to get you?
I can only say what was going through my head, not what he actually did.
Well, you weren't looking at what he was doing?
Not after I got my head smacked on the tile, no.
So you weren't looking at him at that point, right?
Not at that very moment, no.
So it could be then at that point that what he was trying to do when he was trying to, because you weren't looking at him, that when he was trying to stoop down, it could be that he was trying to help you to pick you up and apologize, right? Based on the fact that you told us you weren't looking at his face. It could be, right?
Objection calls for speculation. There's no evidence to support that.
Overruled. Do we answer?
I can't say he was stooping down, so I don't even know how to answer that.
Well, you said he was trying to get on top of you.
I perceived that.
Yes, and perception is your eyes, you're looking, hearing, right?
Part of that is perception.
Sure. And you're telling us that hearing and looking, you believe, or you think, whatever term you want to use, that he was going to get on top of you, right?
I'm not saying hearing or looking, I'm just saying that was my perception.
So the way you keep backing away from it, it appears that what you're telling us, it could be that he's stooping down to help you to get up, right?
Objection argumentative, she's not recommending anything.
Rephrase your question.
You tell us that he was going down at some point, so that causing you to move away, right?
No, I'm telling you that after I got body slammed, I perceived that he was going to try to get on top of me and I wanted to roll away from the situation and run.
So that was your perception, but it wasn't caused by anything he was doing. It was caused by what he had done before then. That's what you're saying?
Certainly by what he'd done before, but I don't know exactly what he was doing right after he slammed me on the ground.
You weren't even looking at him, right?
Not at that point.
You get up, right?
Yes, after rolling, I got up and ran.
Right, and when you get up, point to me. Are you here? You're here, where are you?
I'm not sure because I didn't do a full turn. I just rolled and got up and ran.
Were you in front of the closet?
Not directly, but
Were you right there? Where were you? Just,
I don't know, I just rolled and I got up and booked it down the hallway.
and, well, this is not the hallway where you went down, right?
No, that's not where I ran.
Right, and in fact, are you saying that you rolled all the way down till you got to the entrance to the hallway?
Yeah, she asked Nancy, Sherry said she didn't know where she's going.
Overruled.
I did not make a full rotation. I just rolled to my side and got up and started running.
So if you are here and you make a half rotation, then isn't it true that you would be standing right about here?
Actually, that mischaracterizes her testimony.
You would be standing right about here when you took off running.
Rephrase the question.
Were you standing right about here when you took off running?
Objection, she's already said she didn't know where she was.
Overruled.
I really am not sure. I just got up and started running after I rolled to the side. That's all I can say.
He was still angry at that time, right?
Yes, he was still angry.
And he was still screaming at you, right?
Yes.
And this is the individual that on occasion had been telling you what great shape he'd gotten in, right?
Yes.
He's this individual that you told us was a wrestler, right?
Yes.
In high school. And he's the same individual that part of the reason that you were taking these photographs in the shower was because he was in pretty good shape, right?
Yes.
So you take off running and you take off running down the hallway, right?
Yes.
And you go in this direction here, is what you're telling us, right?
Yes.
And then you pivot and take a right in here, which is the closet, right?
Yes.
And you're telling us that this individual that's standing and you're down, that's in really good shape, that's in really angry, and you're running down this hallway, you're telling us he can't catch you because you're way faster, right?
That's not what I'm saying.
Well, you're saying he didn't catch you. You're telling us he didn't catch you here, right?
No.
He didn't catch you here, right?
No.
He didn't catch you here, right?
No.
He's running after you, though, is what you did tell us, though, right?
I didn't look behind me, but I assumed.
Well, if you didn't look behind you, does that mean he wasn't coming after you?
No, ultimately that doesn't mean that because that's not what the reality ended up being.
So this individual that's in this in this shape that you've described, you get here before he does, right?
Yes, I do.
And he doesn't catch up to you here. When you're here, he hasn't caught up to you, right?
That's correct.
And there's the door there, right?
Yes.
According to you, you're able to close that door, right?
I slammed it.
But that door doesn't have a lock to it, right?
Not that I recall.
Well, you were there, though, right?
Yes.
Let's take a look at exhibit number 78. Take a look at it, please. Where were you taking the photographs when this happened? I want to see it on this exhibit.
Outside the shower?
Pardon?
Outside the shower.
Well, why don't you put a mark on there? Ma'am, were you crying when you were shooting him?
I don't remember.
Were you crying when you were stabbing him?
I don't remember.
How about when you cut his throat? Were you crying then?
I don't know.
So take a look then. And you're the one that did this, right?
Yes.
And you're the same individual that lied about all this, right?
Yes.
Well, so then take a look at it. And take a look at exhibit 78. And you indicated that you were in this vicinity here with your head in this direction when Mr. Alexander was in this vicinity, sort of next to you, correct?
Yes.
And you indicated that you were able to get up, right?
Yes.
He was within a foot of you, wasn't he?
That sounds right. I don't know. Sounds about right.
Well, he was within an arm's length. He could have touched you if he wanted to, right?
I think so. He would have to reach down, I guess.
Pardon?
He would
I
have
can't
to-
hear you. Either pull the microphone up.
He would have to reach down because I was on the ground, but within arm's length, I guess so, yeah.
Or he could have kicked you if he wanted to. That's how close he was, right?
Yes, he was that close.
And you were able to get up, right?
After rolling, I got up, yes.
So you rolled then, right?
Yes.
You were able to get up, right?
Yes.
And he was standing right there, correct?
In the same place, but I
Right.
rolled away, yes.
And then you began to run, correct?
Yes.
And he began to run after you, right?
I heard his footsteps. I didn't look.
You didn't tell us about, in fact, when you testified prior to trial, you told us that you didn't know if he was coming after you, right?
Prior to trial?
Prior, this morning, when you testified. Do you remember testifying this morning?
Yeah, I didn't know for certain because I didn't look back.
Ma'am, my question to you is, do you remember testifying this morning?
Yes.
And do you remember we discussed this issue about going down the hallway? Do you remember that?
Yes.
And do you remember that you told us that you had no idea where he was?
Objection, this characterizes your testimony.
Overruled, you may answer.
I didn't say that.
You said that you didn't know if he was following you because you weren't paying attention. Do you remember that?
No, I don't remember saying I didn't know. I just remember saying that I wasn't sure.
And that you didn't know, you said that you didn't hear him, right? You didn't say that anything about hearing him, did you?
I didn't say that I heard him. I didn't say that I didn't hear him.
So you're now saying that you did hear him coming after you, right?
I'm saying that I thought I heard footsteps
Well-
running after me.
When you say you think, it implies that you're not sure. Did you or did you not hear footsteps as you're going down the hallway?
I think I did.
Okay, so you heard footsteps, that means he's running after you, right?
That's what I believed.
Well, all we care about is what you believe in. So you say that you hear his footsteps, right?
Yes.
So he is coming after you, right?
Yes, he is.
Makes you scared, right?
Very.
And you're saying that this individual who's in shape is not able to catch you before you turn the corner to go into the closet, right?
He did not.
That's what you're saying, that he wasn't fast enough to do it, right?
That's right.
And you slammed the door, right?
I did.
You can't see through the door, right?
That's correct.
So how do you know he's still mad?
Because Travis never calmed down that quickly.
Ma'am, you couldn't see through the door at his expression on his face, could you?
That's correct.
You couldn't see his eyes, correct?
Correct.
And so you're inside this closet, right?
Yes.
And you don't know what he's doing outside, according to you, right?
That's right.
And so even though you don't know what he's doing outside, you claim you go for a weapon, right?
Not immediately. My thought was to run through the other door first.
So then you sat around and waited? There was a period of time here that you waited then?
No, it all happened very quickly, this whole thing.
Okay, well then I thought you said that you thought, or that you took some time to think this out.
It was like instantaneous. I just thought as soon as I slammed the door, I was going to run through the other door. And then in a split second, I realized where the gun was and I went to grab it so that I could point it at him and protect myself.
So you're inside this closet, right?
Yes.
And you're ahead of him, aren't you? In other words, he's on the other side of the door, right?
That was my thought. I also
Ma'am,
had
I'm
fear.
not asking you what your thinking was. I'm asking you, isn't it true that he was outside of the door?
Well, I don't know where he was. I just know that I shut the door.
Then he was somewhere in the bedroom then, right?
I don't know. He could have been in the bedroom or running down the hallway to meet me at the other end of the door.
Bottom line, he wasn't in the closet with you, is what you're telling us, right?
Yes, that's right.
And you don't know what he's doing during this period of time that he's out there, right? Yes or no? Do you know what he's doing while he's out there?
Specify which period of time you're referring to.
The period of time where you're not seeing him. You don't know what he's doing.
That's correct.
And this is a period of time that allows you for contemplation or to think, right?
If I was in my right mind, yes.
Well, I'm not asking you whether or not you were in your right mind, was I?
No.
I was asking you whether or not you had time to think, right?
You actually asked and answered.
Overruled.
I may have had time, but
Well, didn't you just tell us just now that you that you thought about what you were going to do next, right?
yes, I thought of getting away.
And so the answer is yes, you did think, right?
Yes.
And in fact, when you were doing this thinking, he wasn't in the closet, right?
No, he was opening the door at that point.
Ma'am, he wasn't in the closet, was he?
He was opening the door and entering.
I'm
the
not
closet.
asking you if he was opening the door. I'm at you. The way you told the story just now was that you slammed the door. Didn't you just say that?
Yes, I did.
And when you slammed the door, you didn't get his foot, right? He didn't have his foot in the door, right?
No,
He didn't have his hand somewhere so that the door didn't close, right?
that's right.
The door closed, right?
Yes,
And for whatever period of time, he was outside, right?
I guess because it opened pretty much right away.
Ma'am, during this time, you were ahead of him inside of that closet, according to you, right?
That's right.
You had enough time to grab the door, right?
No, I slammed it.
You touched the door, right?
Yes,
And you slammed the door, right?
yes,
It shut, right?
yes.
At that point, he wasn't in that enclosed area with you, correct?
In that very second, no, he was not.
Right. You could have continued running out of this door here, couldn't you?
Yes.
You chose not to because you thought about it, right?
I don't remember really thinking. I just remember being scared and trying to put distance. And
You could have, though, run out and put distance between, to use your term, between you and him by running out this door, right?
that's right. I guess I
And
would've-
if you would have run out this door, you could have then run down the hallway, right? Again, right?
That's possible.
Well, it's something you could have done, right?
This attorney wasn't going to let her go scot-free. He meant to make her pay for everything bad she did. The grilling was a lot that she even teared up, and then he continued grilling. This went on and on till the jury's verdict was read.
The State of Arizona versus Jody Ann Arias, verdict, count 1. We, the jury, duly impaneled and sworn, in the above entitled action, upon our oaths, do find the defendant as to count 1, first-degree murder, guilty. 5 jurors find premeditated, 0 find felony murder, 7 find both premeditated and felony. Signed, 4-person. Is this your true verdict, so say you want it all?
Ladies and gentlemen, the clerk is now going to ask each of you a question. Please answer yes or no.
Juror number 1, is this your true verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 2, is this your true verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 3, is this your true verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 4, is this your true verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 6, is this your true verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 7, is this your true verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 9, is this your true verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 12, is this your true verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 13, is this your true verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 14, is this your true verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 16, is this your true verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 18, is this your true verdict?
Yes.
The court finds the mitigation presented is not sufficiently substantial to call for leniency and that a natural life sentence is appropriate. It is ordered the defendant shall be incarcerated in the Department of Corrections for the rest of her natural life with no possibility of parole. The sentence shall begin today. The defendant shall receive credit for 2,463 days of pre-sentence credit. It is ordered the defendant shall pay a $10 probation surcharge assessment. And as previously stated, the court is retaining jurisdiction over restitution. Ms. Arias, you have 20 days from today to file a notice of appeal. You have the right to have an attorney represent you. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. If you cannot afford the necessary records and transcripts, they will be provided for you at no cost. Do you understand?
Yes.
What do you think about this story? Subscribe to our YouTube channel for more stories like this.